Welcome to the deep dive. If you've ever felt just utterly exhausted by the constant pressure to be productive.
You know that whole hustle culture thing? Optimize every second.
Exactly. If that just makes you feel tired thinking about it, well, this deep dive is definitely for you.
Yeah, this is for the tired souls out there, just trying to get through the day.
You've come to the right place.
So we're diving into a really unique source today. It pushes back hard against that usual advice.
It's a book, right? With a fantastic title.
It is. It's called Too Tired to Succeed, but Here's My Lazy Plan.
I love that already. And our mission here is, well, to cut through the usual productivity noise.
Explore this lazy plan, pull out the core ideas, maybe find some surprising insights.
Yeah, find a different way to think about getting things done when you honestly just don't have the energy.
It's less about perfection, more about permission.
Permission to just be,
Yeah, right.
while still somehow managing to function.
And it starts right up front by saying, look, it's okay to be tired.
Which is so validating.
Totally. Being drained doesn't mean you're broken or, incapable. It just means you need a different approach.
One that actually works with your energy levels, not against them.
Precisely. It takes that feeling of being spent and says, okay, let's build from there.
Okay, let's unpack this. Where does it start?
Well, first it makes it really clear who this plan is actually for.
Okay.
It's definitely not for the 5 a.m. cold shower miracle morning crowd.
Huh, right. So who then?
It's for anyone who wants to get something done without, and I think this is a direct quote, crying on the floor by 9 a.m.
Relatable. Painfully relatable for some days.
The goal is really simple. Just do enough to feel like you exist.
Which, honestly, on some days, that feels like a huge win.
It absolutely is. And the first big idea it tackles is motivation. That thing we're told is key.
Oh yeah, motivation, gotta have it.
Well, this book argues it's wildly overrated.
Really? How so?
It uses this brilliant analogy that motivation is like unreliable Wi-Fi.
Okay, I think I see where this is going.
It's great when the signal's strong,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But completely useless when you actually need it and it's just gone. Buffering.
That's perfect. The buffering wheel of dread when you have to start something.
Mm-hmm.
So if motivation isn't the key, what is? Especially when you just don't feel like it.
The quote-unquote secret isn't waiting for motivation to strike, it's doing things anyway.
Okay, but that sounds hard when you're tired.
But here's the crucial lazy twist, as the book calls it. You do it badly.
Badly.
Yeah, badly, slowly, and only when you feel even slightly emotionally stable.
Doing things badly. That goes against everything, doesn't it? Quality effort.
It does feel counterintuitive, but the idea is to lower the barrier to starting so much that the mental block of doing it well just disappears.
Okay, so how does that look?
There's this simple mantra, I don't feel like it, but I'll do it for 5 minutes and see what happens.
Just 5 minutes.
Just 5 minutes. And the key is the see what happens. Sometimes maybe those 5 minutes turn into 10 or 15, you get a little momentum. Other times you stop right after 5 minutes. And crucially, the book says both outcomes are valid. Both are progress.
I like that. No pressure to finish or even do much. Just starting, even poorly, is the win.
Exactly. It counts. So after tackling motivation, it moves on to tasks themselves.
Okay.
It introduces something called the one-task rule.
The one-task rule. Sounds nice and minimal.
Oh, it is. It's basically the antidote to those huge, overwhelming to-do lists or giant sticky note walls.
We've all been there.
The rule is, well, it's breathtakingly simple. If you do just one meaningful thing today, you win.
One. What kind of thing does checking email count?
Totally. The book gives examples just like that. Answer one message, wash one single dish, stretch for 30 seconds.
Wow.
That's your victory for the day. Done.
So the goal isn't clearing the whole inbox or finishing a project. It's just one tiny unit of effort.
Precisely. The whole philosophy is lower the bar. Lower it so low you basically trip over it.
And then you declare victory.
Triumphantly. It even cheerfully calls you a highly functional potato for doing it.
Highly functional potato. Okay, I need that on a t-shirt. That captures the vibe perfectly. Minimal viable existence.
Doesn't it? So, okay, we've got unreliable motivation, tiny tasks. What about planning? Because planning itself often feels like work.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes planning is the task I avoid the most.
The book gets that. It has a section called Planning Like You Kinda Care.
Kinda care planning. Love it.
And the system is, gloriously lo-fi. Forget fancy apps.
Oh, good.
You just grab something, anything, piece of paper, napkin, Write down the absolute bare minimum you need to deal with this week.
Okay, the bare minimum for the whole week.
Then you look at that short list and you just circle the one thing that feels, well, least painful to maybe start.
The least painful option, not the most important.
Nope. Least painful. Maybe you do that one first.
There's a line in the source, right?
Yeah.
Something about visible effort, even if scrawled on a napkin.
That's the one. It's perfect. It's not about having the perfect plan.
It's just about having any plan, even a lazy one.
Right. Because a lazy plan is still way better than no plan. It gives you one thing to maybe focus on without all the pressure. It respects you might not have energy for complex schedules.
Which leads us perfectly into, I think, one of the most powerful ideas in the book, energy management.
Absolutely. This is crucial. The source makes the point that often you're not actually running out of time.
You're running out of something else.
Emotional battery, mental energy. You can't just willpower your way through genuine depletion. Caffeine only goes so far.
Right, that feeling when your brain just feels fuzzy and slow.
Exactly. And it uses this great analogy of a prepaid phone plan for your daily energy.
Okay, like energy units.
Yeah. You start the day with a certain number of units. Every task, every interaction, every decision, it costs units.
And if something or someone unexpected drains your battery early,
Then you're just out of juice for the day. That's it. And the book stresses that's a physical reality, not some kind of moral failure.
trying to be productive then is like trying to make a call on a dead phone.
Precisely. So how do you manage this, precious, limited resource? The book offers some really practical, low-effort strategies.
Okay, I'm ready.
First, pre-prioritize your people.
Meaning?
Consciously choose to spend your limited energy units on people who actually recharge you or, at least don't make your eye twitch.
Huh. Avoid the energy vampires.
Basically, yes.
Mm-mm.
Be selectively available is how the book puts it.
Strategic social energy conservation. Makes sense. What else?
Schedule your crashes.
Casual crashes, like plan to feel bad.
Sort of. Build time into your day or week where the only plan is to do absolutely nothing. Stare at a wall. Zone out completely.
Okay.
The source frames this not as wasted time, but as essential preventative maintenance for your emotional battery.
Permission granted to stare at the wall.
Ugh.
I like it. What about when other people want things and you're running on empty?
The maybe later system?
Ooh, tell me more.
So someone asks for something, maybe a favor or a commitment, and you just don't have the bandwidth. You respond with something like, oh, that sounds interesting. I might need a bit of time to get back to you on that.
It's like a polite stall tactic.
Exactly. It buys you space without a direct no, which can sometimes feel hard or guilt-inducing when you're drained.
That's really smart. A low-friction way to manage expectations. Any other energy hacks?
Yeah, a simple one. Snack first, then think.
Snack first.
Sometimes that feeling of utter emotional exhaustion is actually just low blood sugar making everything feel 10 times worse. Fuel your body before you try to make even small mental efforts.
Basic, but probably overlooked a lot.
Definitely. And maybe the most important one, celebrate micro wins. Seriously, micro.
A micro are we talking?
Did you manage to get out of bed today? Did you put on pants, even if they were sweatpants?
Mm-hmm.
The book literally says, congratulations, you are thriving. Now rest, hero.
I love that validation. It just lowers the bar for a win right down to basic functioning. That feels achievable.
It does. Oh, and there was a specific tip for when you're trying to rest, but your brain is still buzzing with anxiety.
Right, the anxious downtime thing.
Yes. If you're lying down trying to rest, but your mind is racing about all the things you should be doing, try a fake task.
A fake task? Like what?
Hold a notebook and pen. Pretend you're journaling or thinking deep thoughts. You don't actually have to write anything meaningful.
So just the physical act.
Yeah, sometimes just the posture, holding the notebook, can sort of trick your brain into feeling slightly less anxious, less like you're doing nothing wrong, without using real energy. It counts as effort, apparently.
That's fascinating. Using the body to influence the mind, even minimally. And this whole focus on energy, it leads right into rest, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Proper rest is critical. And the book makes this really strong argument. Resting strategically isn't some reward you get after being productive.
It's not.
No. It's a fundamental part of a sustainable, long-term plan, especially if you're chronically tired, burning out. That's the truly inefficient way to live. So true. It frames resting almost like an art form.
Exactly. The art of giving yourself permission to do absolutely nothing, and crucially, with zero guilt attached.
Zero guilt rest. That's the dream.
And it offers a rest toolkit, love the trademark symbol, designed for minimum effort, maximum recharge.
Okay, what's in the toolkit?
It breaks rest down into 3 levels of lazy rest.
Lazy rest levels. I'm intrigued.
Level 1, passive rest. This is your mindless scrolling, well, horizontal, lying on the sofa watching trash TV.
It counts. Seriously.
The book insists it absolutely counts sometimes. It meets a need, even if it's just distraction.
Okay, thank goodness. My level 1 game is strong.
Huh. Level 2 is comfort rituals. Small things that feel grounding or cozy. Making tea, wrapping in a blanket, maybe putting on a specific feelings playlist.
Slightly more intentional, but still low energy.
Exactly. Then level 3 is actual recharge. This is where you might incorporate like silence, no screens, maybe actual napping or just breathing consciously without trying to multitask or optimize your rest.
That sounds harder. It can be. And the book acknowledges that. It adds a note. Don't panic. You're still allowed to be lazy.
Oh, yeah.
This is just about finding moments for deeper, perhaps healthier rest when you can manage it.
That distinction is important. It's not demanding intense meditation, just stillness, maybe.
Right. And if even thinking about levels feels like too much, it offers a super simple routine.
Okay,
Sit, breathe, stretch like a confused cat.
I can manage that.
Put your phone on airplane mode, lie down,
Uh.
and pretend you're starring in a sad indie movie. That's it.
Pretend you're starring in a sad indie movie. That imagery is just perfect. It captures that low-energy mood so well.
Doesn't it? And maybe the most liberating point about rest in the whole book is this.
Yeah.
You do not earn your rest. You claim it.
Wow. Say that again.
You don't need a finished to-do list to deserve a nap. Your right to rest isn't dependent on your output.
That is a complete rejection of that grind culture idea where rest is only okay after you've totally exhausted yourself.
Completely. Oh, and the lazy tip for this section is genius. Put rest on your actual to-do list.
Seriously.
And then cross it off first thing. Instant psychological win. You've been productive.
That's brilliant. A low-effort hack to feel good about doing something essential. Okay, so we've covered motivation, tasks, planning, energy, rest. But what about just starting? That initial hurdle.
Ah, yes, the beginning. Often the hardest part, right?
Absolutely. Staring at a task for days, that feeling of inertia. The book calls it trying to lift emotional concrete.
Such a good description. Chapter 6 is even titled, Starting is the Hardest Part, so don't.
So don't start. How does that work?
Well, it leans into how hard starting is and gives strategies specifically designed to bypass that resistance lazily.
Okay, like what?
Like embracing the micro move.
Micro move.
Don't tell yourself, okay, time to start that huge project. Instead, just name the file, open the app, write one single word.
Does the word matter?
Nope. The source explicitly says UGH counts.
Ah, love it.
The idea is that momentum loves minimalism. Break the inertia with the tiniest possible action.
Makes sense. What else?
Remove the pressure by pretending you're just messing around.
Pretending.
Yeah, tell yourself, I'm not working on this, I'm just playing with the idea, or I'm just doodling related to it. It reframes the scary task as low-stakes exploration.
Takes the pressure off doing it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's gamifying the first 5 minutes. We touched on this with the mantra.
Right, the timer trick.
Yeah, set a timer, commit only to those 5 minutes, trick your brain into thinking it's just a little low-risk game. You're just seeing what happens, not making a huge commitment.
Leveraging psychology against yourself. Clever.
It works. And finally, a classic. Bribe yourself shamelessly.
Ah, bribery. My old friend.
Commit to the tiny starting task, that micro move, and the reward is immediate. Coffee, a snack, 5 minutes of scrolling, a quick lie down.
Whatever works.
The source is very clear. Bribes work, even self-bribery. Use it.
They really do. It's just simple behavioral stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Using rewards against your own inertia.
Totally. And all of these techniques, the tiny tasks, the kind of care planning, budgeting energy, claiming rest, the micro starts, they all build towards this ultimate goal, maybe.
Which is
Mastering the art of the bare minimum.
the bare minimum. Sounds slightly shameful, but based on this book, maybe it's not.
Exactly. Chapter 7 is called Doing the Bare Minimum Expert Level. It argues this isn't just being lazy, it's actually energy conservation with flair. It's a skill.
A skill?
Yeah, a skill that lets you keep functioning without completely crashing and burning. You're aiming to become Chief Minimal Effort Officer.
Chief Minimal Effort Officer. I aspire to that title. So how does the book help you feel okay about this? How does it redefine productive?
It suggests shifting your definition entirely. What if responding to one email, even if you don't hit send yet, counts as productive for today?
Okay.
Or highlighting one sentence in an article and calling it studying.
Ah.
Or, get this, just sitting near the task you need to do and making eye contact with it.
Making eye contact with your laundry pile counts. That's peak relatable laziness. It acknowledges the mental effort even of just approaching something.
Right. It's about recognizing and validating those tiny scraps of effort you can manage when you're depleted.
So what's the rule here?
The rule of one thing, then retreat. Do one tiny thing, one micro move, then immediately give yourself permission to go back to resting or scrolling or staring at the wall.
But with a sense of accomplishment.
Exactly. With the quiet satisfaction of a hero, one dish washed, monumental victory, one sentence written, publish-worthy progress.
It's all about recalibrating what a win looked like based on your actual capacity.
Yeah.
Which links to the Donish standard, right?
Yes. This might be one of the most freeing ideas in the whole book. We know done is better than perfect,
Yeah.
but this book argues done-ish is infinitely better than burnout.
Donish. Give me examples.
Okay, so you planned your week, made that minimal list, but didn't actually follow the plan. You still did the planning part. That's done-ish. Did the laundry, but it's still sitting in the basket, unfolded. Hey, the clothes are clean. Done-ish.
I feel C.
Taught about exercising. Mental reps. Totally counts.
Donish is better than burnout.
Yeah.
That needs to be on a mug. Or maybe embroidered on a pillow you can nap on.
Definitely. And it even reframes procrastination.
How? Procrastination usually feels like failure.
It suggests turning procrastination into incubation.
Incubation.
Right.
Like ideas hatching.
Sort of. The idea is that sometimes when you're avoiding a task and scrolling memes or petting your cat instead, maybe your brain is actually working on the problem in the background.
Right.
It's potential deep thinking disguised as avoidance. The book adds a little caveat. Probably.
That's a very generous interpretation of my Twitter time. I'll take it, though. And the final lazy tip for this part.
Celebrate doing less. Like, actually celebrate. Give yourself a literal clap after you close just one annoying browser tab.
A round of applause for closing a tab.
You deserve standing ovations for semi-effort.
Permission to clap for minimum effort.
Yeah.
That actually feels kind of revolutionary. Okay, so bringing this all together, what's the big takeaway message from this source?
The book hammers this home. This is not another hustle culture, optimize everything manual. It's explicitly for the tired, the overwhelmed, the burnt out.
It's an alternative path.
Completely. Success, or even just basic functioning, doesn't always have to come from relentless grinding. Sometimes success looks like just managing to show up.
Even if you're half dressed, half awake.
Exactly. Even if you can only manage one tiny thing. The book even says, reading this far, engaging with these ideas, that took effort. That counts.
That's nice to hear.
Having a lazy plan isn't failing. It's a valid strategy for survival, maybe even for thriving in a different way.
It's just incredibly validating, isn't it? To hear an approach that doesn't shame you for not having limitless energy.
It totally reframes the whole conversation around productivity and maybe even self-worth, especially if you feel left behind by the usual metrics.
And exploring these ideas from too tired to succeed in this deep dive, hopefully it helps you feel informed about this different, maybe more sustainable approach.
And an approach to managing your energy, getting something done without constantly fighting that feeling of inadequacy or just heading straight for burnout.
Yeah.
And, here's where it gets really interesting, I think.
Go on.
What if embracing your own tiredness, accepting that limited energy battery the book talks about, what if that isn't just a temporary fix?
What if it's more?
What if it's actually a more efficient, more sustainable path to getting things done in the long run? What if constantly pushing past genuine depletion isn't dedication, but actually the most inefficient, damaging thing you can do?
Wow, that really does flip the script on everything we're usually told. It's a powerful thought.
It is.
So thinking about this lazy plan, here's something for you, the listener, to consider.
Yeah.
What tiny, almost embarrassingly small micro move could you make today on something you've been avoiding?
Just one tiny thing.
And what would it feel like to genuinely, truly celebrate that single tiny step, that moment of minimal effort as a massive win? Give yourself that permission. See what happens.